Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Pop Talks Eagles. Let's talk rounds 2 and 3 of the NFL draft. Big night last night. Jordan Davis, the trade for A.J. Brown, and we got holes to fill on this roster, obviously. The only problem is, going forward, we don't have many picks left for this draft, which is kind of unusual for Howie, right? He usually collects a lot of picks, but we had to get rid of the third-round pick for the A.J. Brown trade along with pick number 18. So today, or tonight, round 2, pick 19, so number 51 overall. Could we move up? Yes, but we don't have a lot of capital to move around. I'm going to explain why we might be able to, and just my thought process. I'm no GM here, but there could be a possibility to move up and there's some pretty solid names still available, and they're probably going to go quickly because front offices have had almost 24 hours to sit around and ponder and kind of know who they want to go after in round number 3. We do have a third round pick, number 83 overall, 19th pick in the third round. No picks for round 4. Pick number 11 in round 5, number 154, no 6th round pick, and then a round 7 pick number 16, number 237. So how can we move up, or do we move up? Well, the one thing, and this is just my thought, right, as I looked ahead to our 2023 draft, and we pretty much have the standard picks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We lost our 6th round pick because we traded it to the Jags for Josiah Scott, which probably at the end of the day is a wash. It really doesn't matter. We obviously have a second first round pick next year from the Saints, but could Howie trade a 2023 pick, maybe like a 3rd, 4th, or 5th rounder, to move up in the 3rd round this year? And the reason why I wouldn't be opposed to doing that, right, to get more draft capital for this year. I mean, next year, the 2 1s and the 2 and the 3 are very good. But you have to think guys like Jalen Reagor, right, Andre Dillard, though we might not be able to move them tonight or this weekend, and if Howie can move one or both of them this weekend, I mean, he's a genius. He's a wizard when it comes to trades. We all kind of know that. But if he cannot move them this weekend, he might just think, I can move them during or at the beginning of the season. Teams could have injuries. A wide receiver could go down in training camp. An offensive tackle could go down. And now all of a sudden, Andre Dillard and Jalen Reagor, believe it or not, might have more value. So he could bank on the fact that he can eventually move them and recoup some 2023 draft picks back from those players. They'd be late round picks for sure, because I mean, it's Andre Dillard and Jalen Reagor. We ain't getting a ton for them. But if Howie's willing to risk a late round 2023 pick to move up in the 3rd or 4th round for this year's draft, in hopes that he can get that late round 2023 pick back by moving Reagor or Dillard, or if he can move them tonight, it might be worth it. Now, what positions do we need to address for the rest of the draft? Offensive line, always good to add depth. Do they need to spend a 3rd or 4th round pick, or 2nd or 3rd or 4th round pick on it? Probably not, right? So I think the whole offense is actually kind of set. Offensive line, I'd be cool with depth. I think at the wide receiver group here, let's see if the Eagles website has it updated here with A.J. Brown on the list. And it is, so that's pretty cool. I mean, JJ is supposed to be moving to tight end, and he's trash. We don't really care about him. A.J. Brown, I mean, he's, top 3, obviously. We made the move for Zach Pascal. I don't know how he's going to pan out. 4th or 5th receiver. Devontae is 1A. A.J. Brown, 1B. Greg Ward, Quez Watkins, I think should be on the roster next year. John Hightower, I thought we already released him. Maybe he's on the practice squad, but he's probably out of here. I mean, there's just no room for Jalen Reagor, I don't think. I would hate to see them get rid of Greg Ward for a roster spot for Jalen Reagor, but I think wide receiver, A.J. Brown simply addressed that position in one transaction. Tight end, I mean, Tyree Jackson, Dallas Goedert, I just don't think we need to worry about depth right now. It's all about the defense, and my biggest concern here is the secondary, because Anthony Harris solidified right now. He had a solid first year with us at the safety position. Look at this depth chart. There's literally nobody else there. I mean, Marcus Epps, he had his moments. He's not as terrible as I think people say he is, but do we really want him to be a starter week 1? I don't. Kayvon Wallace added some weight so far in the offseason. Good in college. Could he make a stride towards being, a starter? He's only 5'11". That kind of concerns me. Always there. He's just a smaller guy, but he did add on some weight, like I said. Honey Badger. Is Honey Badger going to sign with us? As the days go on, I just don't know, and I don't think so. But we definitely need some safeties, right? Some defensive backs and cornerbacks, too. Like, I am still scared at the thought. And yes, we addressed our defensive line a lot this offseason so far, but I am scared at the thought here of having Darius Slay. And then who's going to play on the opposite side of him? Maddox needs to stay in the slot. He was fantastic in the slot last year, so I don't want to move him around, take him out of what he's been good at. Is Zach McPherson ready to make the jump to CB number 2? That scares me. Craig James, no. Josiah Scott, no. So we need to look at some corners and some safeties in rounds 2 and 3, in my opinion. And then the other question, I mean, I think our defensive line's good now. Derek Barnett, Brandon Graham, I know he's old, but I think he's going to be somewhat productive. Josh Sweat, Fletch, Hargrave. We picked up Jordan Davis, obviously, in the draft. And then, like, outside linebackers for pass rushing purposes, obviously Hassan Reddick is going to be there. But linebackers in general, like, I think TJ Edwards is very good. We got Hassan Reddick. Davion Taylor showed some flashes. Kaiser White, I'm very excited about that signing. I think is going to be good. So, yes, we probably should go after a linebacker and maybe Howie can find a gem in the second, third, or fourth round. But I still think the defensive backs right now are the biggest concern and scaring me the most. We need a safety unless they can get Honey Badger to sign, and we need another cornerback. So let's see who's still available and who could be worth picking up. I think the biggest name that I'm seeing on Twitter and a lot of people suggest, and we're just on NFL.com kind of looking at their round 2 mock draft, but Nakobe Dean. I mean, if the Jets land him, they've had a fantastic draft so far. If he were to fall to the Jets, and I mean, you know, it's only a few picks down the road where they can pick, he's going to be off the board in the top 5 picks of the second round. I'm kind of surprised he's fell this far. This is a guy I would not mind Howie going after, but he's going to have to trade up to get him, and that goes back to what I talked about earlier in the video. Do you give up some 2023 picks to move up to the second round, or move up in the second round to get a guy like Nakobe Dean? And the other one you have to think about, but in the back of my mind, I think it's Sidney Jones all over again. David Ajobo. I mean, he was going to be, what, a top 10, top 15 pick in this draft. He gets hurt in the pre-draft workouts. You know, whoever takes a fly on him, he's not going to play this season, but he could pan out to be very good in the future. But again, I just have a bad taste in my mouth after Sidney Jones. So I don't know if we would want to go that route there and move up for an injured player who could maybe not ever be himself again. I'm not familiar with a lot of these players. I see Detroit Lions, Nick Cross, that's a safety. I'm all for safeties right now. Jaquan Brisker, a Penn State guy. Can we get a Penn State guy coming to Philly? That would be pretty cool here. The mock draft has us taking Kyler Gordon, Washington corner. So I don't know a ton about him. Gordon is a strong, good-sized cornerback with explosiveness and a higher ceiling than this draft slot might indicate. So kind of seems like a project guy there that, you know, could be good, and he's got the measurables. And I'm just kind of scrolling down here. I don't know who we're going to pick. To be honest, like I don't watch a ton of college football. For those of you that don't know my background, I make Madden videos on YouTube. This is my 3rd channel, and I'm just going to be talking Eagles on this one. But the long story, making it shorter here, is that I've always worked on Saturdays, never had time to watch a ton of college football, but I no longer work on Saturdays because YouTube's my full-time job, and I'll be able to watch more football on Saturdays and be more familiar with these players coming out of college. Roger McCreary, another cornerback here out of Auburn, and the Bears might be eyeing him. So you guys let me know, who do you want us to draft? Any specific players down below in the comment section. I just think it's all about linebackers, safeties, and corners, and if we can somehow move Dillard and Rager to move up and get somebody like Nakobe Dean, I would be very, very pleased with Howie. And also, we need to try to sign Honey Badger because we need help at safety, and we don't have many picks this draft to land, you know, a linebacker, a safety, and a corner, and then be meaningful players. And we're going to have to rely on that pass rush a ton if the secondary is not upgraded via this draft or with Honey Badger signing with the Eagles. And that's all I got. A little bit of a longer video compared to most, but I enjoyed it, and we'll probably have reactions when the new picks come out later tonight, round 2 and 3. Thank you for tuning into this one. My name's Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.